forever. Because the objective is actually to do as many of these cards in 1 minute as you can. And so you want it to be easier, because also if it's too hard, the student will get super frustrated, right? But the other thing is they also have to guess these words as well. So once you get the elephant, you would say it's another word for huge. And then they would have to go through and guess these words as well in order to get the full card. And then once this is complete, they turn it over and they pick another card. But you have to have one student monitoring. This is good to do also in pairs. You have to have one student monitoring to make sure none of these words are said. Right? So if they said jungle, I had to look to make sure you all didn't say animal.
Creature, who said?
Yeah, creature, yes. So it's actually like 3 people in a team. So it could be one team like this, and those 2 are going at it, right? Like maybe she is giving the words, the clues, and she's guessing, okay? And then they have 1 minute to complete this. And then in the next minute, you switch roles. So she's now monitoring to make sure that when she's reading everything, and I'm guessing she's not reading anything on the card. So you go around, and then you, as a group, you then compete to see which group, out of all 3 of the students, which group got the most cards. So they got the most points. Does that make sense? So this is one variation. No, it doesn't make sense? So basically what you would do is, for example, if you have all of these, they're all cut out and they're face down on the desk, right? And so let's say that we're going through and I have this list and I say, okay, it's a thing that you give to an official if you want something to be done.
A bribe.
A bribe. It's prohibited.
Yeah. Yeah, that could be another word. So I would have to make sure, obviously, I don't have all the words written, and I'd have to make sure I'm not using any of those words. But as soon as she gets it, I move to the next one, and I start to describe the next one, and she gets that card. She gets the bribe card. And if she gets controversial, she gets that card. And we keep going until 1 minute has passed, and then we stop.
How many words we have?
And then she has this. I'm the one who's watching, and you're the one that's answering. And then you collect all of the cards, and then you do the same process for me. I collect all of the cards. And you can either have them compete against each other, or compete against other groups in the room. Does that make more sense now?
And is it obligatory to have only just 4 definitions? Or 1 is enough?
It depends how quickly the person guesses.
Yeah. The reason for 4 for me, what I like is because they're also guessing these words in order to complete the card. They guess this and then they guess these words. If you have 4, it gives them more opportunities to at least get some of them. Right? They can always pass and not get a point for the full card. Right? You could have 1 point, I didn't get gray. So no point for gray, no point for animal, 1 point for trunk. So I get 3 points for the card out of 5. Or you could not do that also. It just depends on how detailed and how complicated you want the game to be.
And the level of that.
And the level,
I
yeah.
want to add this. I'm practicing this. I watched it in the film, and I really like it because my course involves practicing communication skills between a lawyer and a client. And the lawyer needs to explain complicated legal terms like defamation or damages to a client to understand. And this, it actually coincided, that film and the activity to do. And later on, my students came to Canada on exchange part, and they forgot the word umbrella. And they came to me and they said, you know, there was a funny situation when I don't remember how to say the word umbrella, such a simple word. And I remembered our game taboo, and I was explaining with different words for the person to understand that I actually need an umbrella. And it's a good activity. You
Yes.
think about vocabulary, but it's actually communication skills.
Exactly. And this is, I like this as well because one of the things that I've actually noticed with learners is exactly what you said. When they don't know the word, especially if it's a simple word, they just shut down. Instead of like having the skills to say, okay, well, I know that it's for rain, it looks like this, you know, and so they keep going. So it gives them that confidence, which is really important. Thank you, that was a great continuation.